So I wanted to have a little reflection on awakeness, being awake, but also quite specifically, this is a set of winter musing, which is why I was asking how many of you had snow, because it's relevant. We haven't got anyone in the southern states where they're in brilliant sunshine, although Arizona is quite warm. So basically winter time. My partner's an acupuncturist, and he tells me that in Chinese medicine terms, winter is a period of maximum yin, and yin is coldness, darkness, stillness, quietness, also transformation and potential. And it contrasts with yang, which is fire, light, action, noise, movement. So this yin aspect of winter is reflected in both how nature is and how our bodies are. This time of year, apparently our thyroids power down, our adrenals want to rest. Nature is busy moving down into the earth, animals burrow down. There's less daylight, there's more darkness. We often want to slow down, get warm, snuggle under our duvets. And there might also be a strong inner urge to reflect and turn inwards and become more expressive of being rather than doing, as Gina was saying before, like being quality, which perhaps is why we do New Year resolutions. It's a great time to meditate and also to inquire into ourselves, to do self-inquiry. However, this can be quite difficult in the Western developed world because we don't tend to live in tune with the seasons anymore. So our work or our connection with others, with society around us, might call us to be active and outgoing, even while the body is telling us that this is the last thing we want to do. So we often find ourselves overriding rather than honouring this call to turn inwards. However, there is another side to winter which provides an interesting opportunity to take time out and engage our senses and give our mental processes a bit of a rest. In winter, the light can be particularly clear, and there can be sights and sounds in nature that come into very sharp focus. Landscapes can be particularly beautiful. There might be extraordinary skyscapes. The trees might appear in stark contrast with everything around them, or sunlight might, because it's low on the horizon, highlight objects in startling ways. If it's snowy, there can be a strange silence that makes sounds sound different to normal, or the sound of a bird singing might be particularly striking because there aren't many others, there isn't a chorus around it. Also, with the cold, it can bring a heightened awareness to our skin, on our face and hands, enlivening our sense of physicality. So in other words, winter calls us to awaken our senses. So many spiritual traditions place a strong emphasis on slowing down, take time to appreciate the here and now, be more aware of our senses. It's central to many traditions of meditation, focusing on our breath, on a sound, on a candle, and in mindfulness practice. It's very much central to that. It also seems to go both ways, interestingly. So as people become more awake and more conscious, also we get a heightened sensitivity to the world around us. I was reading a couple of days ago, Steve Taylor is a guy who's done some research into awakening and awakened people. And he's come up with 18 characteristics of experience and behavior. And the first one that he lists is heightened perception. And I'm just going to read what he says. In wakefulness, perception is vivid and direct. Spiritually awakened people see the world in a very childlike way, struck by the wonder, beauty, and intricacy of phenomenon that other people take for granted and don't pay much attention to. One of the signs of spiritually awakening is that the world is brighter, more fascinating, and more beautiful to them. In particular, they're captivated by nature, the amazingness and beauty of the natural landscape, the sky, the sea, the strangeness, the complexity, the intricacy of animal, plants, and other phenomena. So I've also been reading in several different ways because I'm quite interested. But neurosurgeons apparently gaining a lot of insight into why all this might be taking place. Basically, our thinking mind, the parts of us that identify and separate and give names to objects or dwells on worries and concerns in the past and the future, or even our very sense of self, is actually located in very specific parts of the brain. So when we pay attention to something other than our thoughts, perhaps whether we're meditating or focusing into consciousness itself or paying attention to our senses, then it helps to activate and energize other parts of the brain. And this is why it can lead to a sense of peace and well-being and even joy. So there's a growing recognition that there's a physical as well as spiritual reality to the connection between paying close attention to our physicality, to our senses and our surrounding, and an increase in level of overall consciousness. And this includes having a less of a sense of separation from all that's around us. And I'm going to quote here from the Trillium orientation course on awakening. There's a lovely phrase. It's a greater recognition that all phenomena, objects and others are of the same essence of our own consciousness, of our own conscious nature. So basically, I was musing on this whole connection between our physical senses, tuning into that enlivening of the physical senses in winter, and also that deep desire to go inside and explore our conscious nature as well. And what I want to do is invite you to do with me an exercise which will explore this, or invite you to explore it if you'd like to join me with this. So it's a meditation, so if you want to close your eyes, just get comfortable, and indeed if you want to switch your webcam off, you're very welcome to. So close your eyes and bring your attention to your body, taking time to just settle yourself comfortably into where you're sitting, feeling the sense of being supported by your chair or whatever you're sitting on beneath you. And just take a couple of deep breaths. And perhaps also focusing on the out breath, even letting it out in a sigh, just really letting the breath take you down into your body and into a deeper level of settledness. And just taking a moment to notice how you're feeling in yourself. Are you relaxed or are you tense? Are you contented or anxious? Are you leaning in, trying to do things right, or more in an open and listening, relaxed space? Is your mind active or is it quiet? Where do you feel yourself to be in terms of your connection with an underlying sense of consciousness or beingness? And what about your sense of connection with everything around you? And just take a moment to make note for yourself. Not writing, but just noticing for yourself. So now I want you to bring your attention to one of your hands and just place this so that it rests somewhere on your clothes or on your body. And bring your attention to the feeling of connection between your hand and what it's resting on. Just bring your sensitivity right there into the palm of your hand, to your fingertips, your thumb, and feel what are the sensations coming through the hand. Is there a sense of firmness or softness on whatever is under your fingertips? Is there a sensation of warmth or coldness? Is it rough? Is it smooth? And what about inside the hand? What's the sensations of the bones and the muscles inside? What about the sensation of the air on other parts of your hand? How does that contrast with the sensation on the surface on which your hand is resting? You may even like to wiggle your fingers a little and just get right in there to the sense of the hand. Now, I just want you to draw back your attention from the specific sensations. We've got very clear on the very particular senses of the feeling of your hand on your knee or the clothes, wherever. And see if you can now tune into a bigger picture of your hand and what your hand is resting on. And now it helps rest the hand very lightly and gently on the object beneath it rather than pressing down. See if you can now just tune into the full sensation of a happening between hand, surface, and air. Just expanding your awareness around your hand. And then you might even feel a blurring of distinction of where your hand ends and where the surface that it's resting on begins. It can sometimes be helpful to think in terms of energy. And what is the energy going on in that place where your hand is resting on your body or your clothes? It's very subtle feeling into energy. You have to be really tuned into it, gently, softly. Or you might want to sense into it as an overall sense of isness or beingness in the experience of the hand, surface, and air. See if you can just explore that sensation for a few moments. It's very subtle. Just keep bringing your attention back to that happening. You find yourself drifting away. And you might also want to include your other hand in the sensation as well. With expanded awareness of what's going on, where your hands are, where your hands meet the surface. And you might also want to expand that sense more widely into taking on the whole of your body sitting here. Sort of sense of presence, of isness, not specific, but just very gently. Sense of the energy of it being there. And just for a moment, you might like to tune into one of your other senses. You might want to just listen. Are there any background sounds that are just allowing them to drop into the ear rather than actually straining to hear them? There might even be a sense of smell. Perhaps you've been burning incense or something. Okay, and now I want you to begin to bring your attention back into a more physical sense of your body here. And you don't need to open your eyes and turn the webcam on again just yet, but just bring your awareness back to being here online as part of a group. And as you do this, just check in again how you're feeling in yourself. Are you relaxed or tense? Contented or anxious? How's your mind right now? Is it quiet or active? Do you find yourself leaning in, trying to do it right, or are you really open, just letting it be as it is? And how do you feel yourself in terms of your connectedness with an underlying sense of consciousness, an awakeness, or beingness? And what now is your sense of connectedness with everything around you? Are you aware of any changes in your overall state than before doing the exercise when you first came on the call? Okay, and can I now invite you to come properly back to join the group as gently as and when you feel to, switching on your webcam